talked about this a little bit over the summer, but past month or two, I've just been like, well, there's nothing to do up here in the winter. It's just so damn cold outside. I guess I'll just get some work done. And yeah, it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you don't look for something to do, then there's nothing to do. And I just went skiing with one of my friends up here. And the reason why I didn't do it more often is I'm like, well, skiing is expensive. But he was explaining how he has this thing called an Epic Pass. And it's like, if you buy it at the end of the previous season, it's only $500. And you can ski unlimited instead of paying $130 in order to ski each time you want a lift ticket. I'm like, damn, I could do that like almost every weekend and then I'd have something to do. Which is good, because when you work all the time, another thing that happens is life becomes nothing but work. You start losing some of the joy of it, and I mentioned it messes up your dopamine receptors. Like, I made a video over the summer basically called how having fun is really good if you have ADHD. It helps you focus a lot more if you have fun on the weekends, because there's just more dopamine in your brain, so you can better regulate which tasks you do. And yeah, I mean, that's what ADHD basically is. It's a lack of being able to produce enough dopamine. So and that's what Adderall does for it, or Vyvanse, or any other medication that you go on. So if you do a lot more fun things on the weekend, then you have more dopamine in your system. It's actually easier to stay on task. And I somehow, even though I made videos on talking about this, I somehow let myself get caught back up in this and forgot it, and then basically just talked to myself. I'm like, you need to take time off of working because it helps make you better at working. If you take time off, then you have dopamine to better regulate what you spend your time on, and you're way more productive when you actually sit down to do work. And I find it very easy to fall into the trap of just working, because you see things getting done, and you're like, well, the more I work, the more gets done. And then you also feel good about it, and you don't really have any stress about work or anything going on, because you're like, why would I work? I'm moving towards my goal. But like, I don't know, say you have an exam or some project you're trying to finish, and you take the weekend off. A lot of people, including myself for a period of time, lack the ability to actually take a vacation, actually take a time off. And it's funny, when we're working, we're wishing for a break and a vacation. And the moment we take a break or we go on vacation, we just want to get back to work. And you find yourself never being fully present at either of them. You're never fully like in work mode, and you're never fully in vacation mode, not thinking about work. So, but I did find it interesting how it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you think traveling is difficult, you'll never look into it enough to find out how to do it easily. And it's like a skill like anything else in terms of planning everything, or just winging it, which is what I like to do. But I just thought skiing was expensive and something that you do once or twice a winter. And I never looked into it more than that. I never realized that there's a pass you can buy where if I use it every weekend or every other weekend, or basically if I use it more than 4 times, it's paid for itself. And I have my own skis, so it also helps because you can just socialize on the ski lifts and get out and talk to more people, talk to them. It's always a good idea to build out your social network whenever you can, in terms of having people to give you advice, having people you can reach out to if you need help with something. I mean, it never hurts to have a guy. And you can't ever have a guy unless you talk to a lot of people and you know who to ask about stuff. But I mean, I'm definitely buying that pass for next year, because it's also good to get perspective. Like, once you go out onto the mountain, or once you get up on the mountain, once you get up to the top and you're looking out, not only it brings you into the moment, but you also, at least for me, I was like playing back my habits, my daily habits in my head thinking, why do I do that? Like, it's also effective when you do this for journaling. What do I do and why do I do that? And you just answer that. And it helps you live a more conscious life and make sure that you're doing what you want to be doing, that you're getting the goals that you have set forth done. One of the more beneficial things I've done in terms of journaling in the past couple weeks, well, actually last week, was I wrote down my 10 goals in life, and then for each one of those 10 goals, I wrote down what I am currently doing to achieve it. And basically checking in to see I say this is my goal. I believe this to be my goal. I believe this to be something I'm doing to try to achieve the goal. Will doing this actually get me closer to that goal? So you just examine it. If your goal is to be more conscious, be more aware, then having audiobooks playing 24/7, listening to music, or having something going in the background isn't going to achieve that. So you have to reflect upon your habits. I mean, I always value health, but sometimes there's a cognitive dissonance then there where you value health, but I still wound up vaping for a couple of years. And I'm so happy that I didn't do that. I stopped doing that. And weird thing, driving up here, I just had this craving for nicotine, and I was like, it's really weird. But I just did some breathing work and it went away. Seriously, Wim Hof breathing, taking 30 deep breaths. I wouldn't recommend doing the breath hold if you're driving, but just taking deep breaths and getting more nutrients to the brain activates regions of it and helps produce hormones which help better regulate your dopamine levels, help better regulate your ability to think long term. And it kind of allows you to realize impulsive decisions for what they are and dismiss them. And my grandfather, who's a troubled youth counselor, he recommends something called box breathing, which is, it's 4 seconds out. You breathe in for 4 seconds, you hold it for 4 seconds, you breathe out for 4 seconds, you hold the empty lung for 4 seconds, and you do that. And just, I think he recommends it for people that have trouble with their anger. But it basically just takes your mind off of whatever the impulsive thought or negative behavior is and puts it onto your breath and brings you into the moment. Another trick is noticing something new in your environment. It's actually really interesting. If you want to break out of a habitual thought pattern, try to notice something new in your environment. And the thing is, how do you break out of your habitual thought pattern enough to have the thought of, I should find something new in my environment, and put it on a Post-it note, and then if you see it enough times and actually try to keep practicing it, you'll just get better at it, and then you'll be able to break out. It's when you're having the impulsive thought, when you're having, one thing I wanted to talk about, I think that's why I was having trouble earlier in the week with necessarily going pure carnivore and cutting out fruit and sugar, because I was talking about feeling a lack of dopamine. And I think part of that lack of dopamine is the fact that I haven't been really going outside too much. I haven't been playing, having fun, because it's been really, really cold the past couple of weeks, and I've just been inside working. And besides the fact, ever since I got back from Mexico, I've just been inside, nose to the grindstone, basically working 24/7. And that's also part of the reason why I haven't been producing as many YouTube videos, is when you're in the nose to the grindstone state, you don't often enter the flow state or the mental state you need to be in order to just talk to a camera for, we're going on 9 minutes and 46 seconds of just continual thought. Because your brain needs to be in a certain optimal position to do that, or else your video just winds up being absolute crap. And I don't know, some people might have their opinion about this video, but I can tell you for a fact there's many lower levels of video quality you can get to. And I've been there sometimes where like your brain just overstressed out, not rested. And this was back when I was trying to do a video a day for here, which I'm happy I completed, but during that time, there's some days where I would get it and I would just push it off till like the last thing right before bed, and my brain wasn't really working at the optimal level it needed to. And I would literally write out a script, read off the script, like I would memorize a single line, read that line while looking at the webcam, and then read the next line, memorize that, read it, and then crop out the middle sections so I was making eye contact with the web camera the whole time. But it's what happens when you want to make a somewhat decent looking video where you're not purely reading off a script, but your brain's just not functioning. And I've realized that I can use my ability to make YouTube videos as a metric for how well my brain is functioning, and like just a daily score. Am I working too hard? Am I like resting enough? Am I enjoying myself enough? Because the more I enjoy myself, the more I rest, the more I meditate, the easier it is just to talk and enter a conscious flow state. But I don't know, key takeaways from this video would be you need to have fun. Like, if you don't have fun, your brain's going to crave dopamine in some other form and try to get it via overconsumption of alcohol, porn, cigarettes, tobacco, TV, TikTok, Instagram. And you can help better regulate your brain without having to rely on pharmaceutical aids if you just go out and have fun on the weekends. And it's easier to have fun when you set out the goal of having fun, because you'll figure out how to do it. And if you dismiss it too quickly off right, then you don't ever learn about stuff, learn about cool free places to go, because you never explore it. You're just like, well, it costs too much money. And then you stop looking. But if you're like, well, it costs this much money, how do I do it for cheaper? Or how do I do it for some other way? I mean, hell, right now I'm looking at, I have a bunch of hunting trails that I like going on. I also like mountain biking, but I'm looking at how to, I don't really want to cross-country ski them, but I'm looking at, I think it was called touring skis. But, I mean, that I could slap on and go for a nice ski in the woods. And I have trails right at my house, so I don't have to drive an hour and a half up to New Hampshire. But, get out of the house, have some fun, and peace out.